Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new Arcade1Up cabinet Star Wars that's coming out later this year. So sit back and relax, don't forget to subscribe, and let's talk about Star Wars! So before we get started, I want to talk about some of the discounts available for Arcade1Up cabinets. Currently, the Wave 1 Street Fighter cabinet is available for only $199 if you check out Walmart. Take a look at the BrickSeek app and make sure you're checking to see if Arcade1Up in-store prices are lower than the online prices. Often you'll see prices in-store that are cheaper than the online price. If you can pick up a deal, that would be great. But also keep in mind there are scams on the internet to sell you an Arcade1Up cabinet from China for about $60. So please do not purchase any Arcade1Up cabinets from websites that are not associated with Arcade1Up. You can go to Arcade1Up.com and see a list of authorized resellers. So Star Wars, if you take a look at the pictures from Arcade1Up.com, you can see the new Star Wars pictures and they look great. This arcade cabinet looks awesome. And if you take a look at the Star Wars custom riser, this looks really nice. You got graphics on multiple sides, and if you look closely, you can see that it's a 15-inch riser. That's higher than the normal Arcade1Up risers, and so this brings the total height to just above 60 inches. So that extra height is going to make that Star Wars cabinet look that much nicer in your game room, so I'm pretty excited about that. Now overall, this is going to be more like the Golden Tee cabinet, where it comes with a lit marquee, a custom riser, and cost about $500. I did a little bit of digging, and it looks like the pictures that they posted on their website have LTD at the end, which indicates to me that this is more of a limited supply. So it's possible that they're going to stick with the $499 price, and when they announce it, it's only going to be a limited run, so it'll be hard to get one. So you really got to be prepared and figure out if this Star Wars cabinet is something you want to pick up, because it's possible this will be a limited supplies. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. So all this talk, I had to ask myself, is this a cabinet that I wanted to pick up? So throughout my life, I've always thought that I wasn't really a Star Wars fan. I like the movies, but I wasn't really sure if that's something that I'd want in my game room. And I started thinking about these big events that happen in my life, and Star Wars seems to be this common theme that happens that are really interesting. So I thought I would tell a few stories that might be interesting to you. So back in 1999, my brother was a roadie for a band out of Iowa, and we got to go to Ozfest. And so I thought I was just going to go and enjoy the show, but the drummer for that band was so nice, and he gave me his pass to get on stage and backstage and whatnot. So I actually got to be on stage to see my favorite bands. Next to them, behind the curtains, it was a System of a Down and Deftones. And in fact, afterwards, we got to eat dinner with them. So there I was sitting with the members of System of a Down and Deftones. And so sitting across from me was this kid named Jack, and he was Jack Osborne. And so what were we talking about during dinner? Well, we were talking about Star Wars, because Episode 1 had just came out, and we're all talking about how the movie was pretty good. But Jack was like, I saw Star Wars at Skywalker Ranch with George Lucas. And we were like, what? You got to see? He's like, yeah, I saw it months ago. So I guess he saw it before it was even released. And we're like, of course you got to see it before it was released. And he's like, what does that mean? We're like, well, your dad's Ozzy. And he's like, I don't need the spirits of the demons to get what I want. And we're like, no, your dad's rich. The other cool thing was I lived in LA when Episode 2 came out. So my brother flew out, and a lot of my family members actually flew out so they could see Episode 2 in Hollywood during the premiere. So we went, and there was famous people there. The Lawrence brothers sat right in front of us. That was kind of cool. My cousin even jokingly said, whoa, right when they came in, and they looked at us all funny, and I was super embarrassed. The cool thing was before the actual Star Wars event, my brother and my nephew, they brought lightsabers, and they started dueling in front of everyone. And my nephew was really young at the time, and he was really good at swinging the lightsaber. So everyone clapped afterwards, and it was a lot of fun. So the next story is how my family is really big Star Wars fans. So I have 4 siblings, and they all love Star Wars. So one time I was like, hey, we should all get together with mom and dad and go see the Star Wars Symphony. And at the time, my child was 2 years old, so we dressed her up in a little Princess Leia costume. And I told everyone else, yeah, you should totally dress up for these things. But I was talking about dressing up nice, not dressing in costumes, which is what they did. So here it is, my family comes in to Star Wars Symphony all dressed up in costumes. And I knew this was coming a few days when they were saying, hey, what costume are you gonna wear? But I didn't correct them. So here it is, my family comes in. My dad's Porkins, which he's a man that kind of resembles Porkins, so it was really, really funny. I think my brother was some Jedi. I had a nephew that was a stormtrooper. My sister-in-law, she came as Padme dead. It was, the scene where her funeral, she came like, with a belly. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. And so this was Star Wars Symphony, where most people are kind of dressed up and nobody is wearing costumes, right? What I remember, there was 2 people there that were with the symphony dressed in Star Wars costumes, and it was like a Boba Fett and a stormtrooper, and you'd see a few people taking pictures with them. And the reason why it was only a few people is because most of them were taking pictures with my family because they thought they were the main attraction for outside of the event. Come take pictures with these people dressed up in Star Wars costumes. And we were just, oh man, it's probably the funniest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. Getting, and growing up, I was the youngest, and I wasn't real into Star Wars as much as my family. And so when we talked about going to the symphony, they were really, really excited. And when they came in the costumes, oh man, we lost it. We were laughing. My wife and I were just like laughing so hard. But I love my family. It was a really, really good time. And more, I think over the times, I realized that Star Wars is something that is actually very near and dear to me, and it connects me to my siblings. And so that's got me thinking, should I pick up the Star Wars cabinet from Arcade1Up? And it's really leaning me in that direction as I was researching for this YouTube video and reflecting and thinking about the past. Because I'm imagining bringing that cabinet into my game room and having my family come over and having more great memories about Star Wars and playing those games together. It would be a blast. So if this is the first time you've seen a video from me, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.